Today on the Audio Hotline, I will be reviewing the Neat King B2. And to say I'm excited to review this microphone would be an understatement. I'm a big fan of the original King B, and this is essentially the sequel to the King B. There is some interesting history involved with this microphone that we'll briefly talk about. And of course, we will absolutely be doing a comparison between these two microphones, as well as some other microphones around this price. And speaking of price, you can get the Neat King B for $169.99. Today we'll go through the details, the specs, we'll test it out, we'll do some comparisons, we'll do the whole thing, but first, let's get mic'd. Welcome all audio nerds to the Audio Hotline, and as I said before, we have the Neat King B2 in the studio. Now, just to get a couple real quick disclaimers out of the way, I was sent this microphone by Neat. I, however, wasn't sent the original King B by Neat. I bought that on my own. As I mentioned earlier, there is kind of an interesting history with the King B as well as Neat microphones in general, and also who acquired them. Now, I don't want to get too hung up on this, so I'm just going to summarize hardcore. The original King B actually started out at about $300 to $350. And that was when Neat Microphones was actually owned by Gibson. Once Neat Microphones got out from under Gibson, that sounded a little dirty, but you know what I mean. They ended up repricing the King B around $100. Some places $130. I think they're going used for double that price now. I do feel like the $300 to $350 price tag was a bit high for it, but it is an amazing microphone, especially for the deal that a lot of people got it for. But not too long ago, a company, Turtle Beach, ended up acquiring Neat Microphones. When that happened, I was very nervous because I knew that a King B2 was on the horizon, and I was worried that Turtle Beach, more of a gaming audio centric company, was going to be creating that microphone. Turns out Turtle Beach is extremely qualified to make more of a studio-style microphone. I'll link the page down below on their website, but their history in audio is actually quite impressive. They've created award-winning sound cards that were in the most prestigious nice studios, so they know their way around audio. Their reputation is very different from that now, but once I learned that, I felt a little bit more calm. Now let's go ahead and move on to what comes with the $170 King B2. When you purchase the King B2, it will come with a shock mount. It will come with a 5/8 to 3/8 inch microphone stand adapter. The honeycomb pop filter will be included. You will find some documentation in the box. And it will of course come with the hunky boy microphone itself, the King B2. When you initially open the King B2, everything is already attached. You just pull it out of the box and it's ready to go. When I initially opened the original King B, it felt like an event. There was just so much to it. The packaging was incredible. Everything was so incredible with it. It just felt like a big deal. I didn't really feel that way with the King B2, but I do feel like that's a little unfair to compare it to what was originally packaged and made as a $300+ microphone. But still, I missed a little bit of that pizzazz, you know? Don't miss the awful yellow, though. And also, I initially noticed how heavy this is. That was another thing I was expecting, is for the microphone to get substantially lighter in this second edition, because the original King B is so heavy, and I really thought that they were gonna, skimp on the quality a little bit, make it quite a bit lighter. That's not true. This whole setup actually weighs a little bit more than the original, which I was very surprised about. I mean, maybe if I have a stand adapter in here and all the bands on it, again, maybe it'd be the same, but this is a little bit more. Now, when it comes to build quality of the accessories and the microphone itself, in the King B2, I'm nothing short of amazed. It's very heavy duty and it all feels really good, like the original. The microphone build itself doesn't feel as rugged as the original. It feels a little bit more sleek, but it's nice in just a different way. One of the biggest things that everyone commented on with the original was the look of it. I wasn't a fan of it. I thought it looked kind of weird. Some people just feel like, why does the look matter? Dude, people want their stuff to look nice. Come on. If you don't care about looks, cool. But a lot of people do. Quite honestly, once I got the bands off of this, I didn't mind the look of it anymore. I didn't mind the little yellow accents. It was my favorite, but it's whatever. I do really love the all black, more matte black look of this one. The shape of the microphone's a little weird to me because it does kind of look like a bee's little bum, like the Stinger is the XLR cable. That's what it's called, right? A bee's bum. That's it. Well, now that we've talked about what comes with this microphone, now let's go ahead and nerd out and talk about some specs. The Neat King B2 is an XLR microphone with an externally polarized 34mm center-terminated condenser capsule. This microphone features a cardioid polar pattern, a frequency response of 16 Hz to 20 kHz, a sensitivity of 26 millivolts per Pascal, an output impedance of 150 ohms, and a rated load impedance of greater than 1,000 ohms. This also has a max SPL of 140 decibels. Now looking at the frequency response graph, you can see a little drop off below 50 Hz, but the low mids and mid section are actually relatively flat, and then it does have a slight boost in the high end. Well, now that we've gone through the basics and the accessories and the specs, now let's go ahead and get to the fun stuff. Let's start testing this microphone out. During this first section, I've been using the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. I will continue to use that through the testing section. I'm recording into Adobe Audition, which is so weird for me. This is the second time I've done it, and I kind of like it. And during this testing section, I will do some tests with the pop filter and without the pop filter. But now let's go ahead and kick it off with a proximity effect test. When you get really close to the King B2 and give it a little sniff, it kind of smells like a Foot Locker, maybe? And when you get really close to the King B2 with the pop filter on, here's how it sounds. Now I'm going to go ahead and do some plosives, and this will probably be loud. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled peanutses. 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 No pop filter with the microphone angled. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled peanutses. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled peanutses. If you're planning on typing on a really loud keyboard while this microphone's attached to your desk, here's how it's gonna sound. Now let's go ahead and test the polar pattern with some white noise. As soon as I get off my seat, this guy right here steals it every time. You want to do kitty purr? Yeah, is that why you're here? You beautiful boy. Now, if you're planning on getting this microphone for podcasting or voiceover or anything where you're going to want to put some post-processing on it, here's how it's going to sound with just, some compression. Nothing too serious. I'll label whatever I use. I won't be doing any EQ aside from just a very slight high-pass filter to get rid of some rumble. And here's the sound of the exact same post-processing, but with the pop filter off of the microphone. Right now I'm about 5 to 6 inches away from the microphone. Now I'm about a foot away from the microphone. Now I have the microphone off camera. It's about 3 feet away from me. Now I'm going to go ahead and do an acoustic and electric guitar test. Now I'm going to plug in the original King B and do a slight comparison between those. Then after that, I'm going to do a comparison with some other similar priced microphones. Since the original King B isn't super available, it's pretty much only available used, I figure having a comparison will be fun, but it's not super useful because you can't really get it. So let's go ahead and jump into the King B versus the King B2. Now we have both the King B, the OG, and the King B2 plugged in. I am still using the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, and these are actually set at the exact same gain, I'd say about 40%. But on my meter, I'm just trying to hit negative 12 decibels with each of these on my peaks. But as you've already seen, I'll just put the name of which one is on down here. For this comparison, I had to whip out the big guns. And no, I'm not talking about my feeble arms. I'm talking about the pretty heavy-duty Hercules microphone stand that I use. That's what the OG King B is on. And the desktop boom arm that I've been using recently is super heavy-duty. I love it so much. It was actually a recommendation of Bark over at Obscure Mics. So thank you, Bark. It is the Vivo. I'll put a link down below. I'll have it be his affiliate link since he helped me find it. It's $80 and it's actually by far my favorite desktop boom arm that I've ever used. But this is the comparison for the OG and the 2. But after this, I am going to be doing another comparison. It's actually going to be a blind comparison as per usual. I'll label whatever microphones I'm going to use in the comparison right up here. I'll label the microphones A, B, C, D, so on and so forth. But let's go ahead and jump into that blind comparison. I will have a palette cleanser microphone for you to listen to right now. Here is just a real quick palette cleanser to give you a little listening break from the King B and the King B2. If you happen to like the sound of this microphone, this is the RØDE M2 handheld condenser microphone. Now that my palette is so damn clean that you could pickle your peanutses all over it, now let's go ahead and get into that blind comparison. Here is the sound of microphone A in this blind comparison. Here is the sound of microphone B in this blind comparison. Here is the sound of microphone C in this blind comparison. Here is the sound of microphone D in this blind comparison. Here is the sound of microphone E in this blind comparison. Here is the sound of microphone F in this blind comparison. Once again, here is microphone C, C as in colonoscopy cappuccino. Once again, here is microphone A as in achy ass sets. Once again, here is microphone E as in erotic emo eyeliner. Once again, here is microphone B as in bubbling brook. Once again, here is microphone D as in domesticated dude donkey. Once again, here is microphone F as in fiery flames from flatulence. This is the achy ass sets microphone A. This is the domesticated dude donkey microphone D. This is the colonoscopy cappuccino microphone C. This is the erotic emo eyeliner microphone E. This is the fiery flames from flatulence microphone F. This is the bubbling brook microphone B. Now that we've done that comparison, now I'm going to go ahead and announce which microphones were associated with which letter. And I will be announcing that on the RØDE Broadcaster, just yet another microphone that wasn't technically in the comparison. Microphone A was the Worker B2, which comes in around $100. Microphone B was the RØDE NT1a, which comes in around $229. Microphone C was the OG Worker B, which actually comes in around $79 now if you can still find it. Microphone D was the Lewitt LCT 440 PURR, which is actually the most expensive microphone in this comparison. It comes in around $269. Microphone E is the microphone this whole review is about, the Neat King B2, which comes in at $170. Microphone F was the Audio-Technica AT2035, which comes in around $150. Well, now that we've done all those tests and all those comparisons, now I'm going to go back and edit this first section of the video, listen to this microphone a lot, listen to the comparisons, and really mold, just sculpt my opinion of this microphone. Then I'll come back, give you my opinion, my review of the Neat King B2. That rhymed unintentional. You're welcome. Well, now that I've went back and listened to this microphone a lot, and we went through the accessories, the specs, we tested it out, we did a comparison, we did it all. Now I'm finally ready to give you my opinion of the Neat King Bee 2. Throughout this review, I've already stated some of my opinion. Now, just to briefly summarize, I think the build quality is really good, the accessories are really good. It's a really heavy microphone like the original Neat King Bee, and if you plan on getting the Neat King Bee 2 and mounting it on like a pretty weak microphone stand or like a newer $15 desktop boom arm, think again, because it is not going to work. This thing is very heavy, and you can look at that heavy weight being a good thing or a bad thing. It's bad because you have to get something strong enough to put this on, but also the weight kind of gives it this really nice, like, heavy-duty feel. Whenever I pick up a microphone that's like super, super lightweight, I'm always just like, this is cheap. This isn't made well. And I mean, that's not always necessarily the case. I do feel like a microphone being heavier gives you the idea or the illusion that it's premium. And that is kind of the feeling that I did get from the King Bee 2. And it's also the same feeling that I got from the King Bee. Now, when it comes to sound, I'm not going to go through the comparison and tell you which one I liked more. It's honestly just an example for you to hear some different microphones and see which one you like. But when it comes to the sound of the Neat King Bee 2, I will say I'm pleasantly surprised. I think this is a good sounding microphone. This is definitely not like a flat sounding microphone. It definitely has a tone of its own. With microphones like this that kind of push a certain sound, it seems like it has lovers and haters. It is hot in here. Speaking of sound though, I will say I don't like the pop filter being on this microphone. I think it kind of kills the tone a little bit. So I would recommend if you are going to pick up the Neat King Bee 2 to get a different pop filter. Unless of course you like the sound of the microphone with the pop filter on it, I just think that it kills it a little bit. It murders the bee and we gotta save the bees. The bees save the planet. Now the main thing that I struggle with this microphone is the price. But it's not really a fair thing for me to struggle with. I think I was just so in love with the fact that the King Bee was $100 to $130 and how incredible the quality was that I just kind of expected the Neat King Bee 2 to be the same. But the fact that this is $40 to $70 more than the Neat King Bee is a little bit of a bummer to me. Now, I don't know if anyone is asking themselves this question, like, if I have the King Bee, should I upgrade to the King Bee 2? If you're thinking that, I would say no, unless of course you personally think the sound is so much better that it is worth selling your King Bee and getting the King Bee 2, then go for it. In fact, you actually may be able to sell your King Bee for more than the King Bee 2. If that's the case, then I guess you could do that if you like the sound of the two. The King Bee and the King Bee 2 definitely have a little bit of a different tone. They resemble each other a little bit, but I think they both sound good. And the King Bee definitely sounds good for what its price was. So the grade that I give the Neat King Bee 2 is a B. Actually, it's not a B. I just really wanted to give it a B because it's the King Bee, you know. But the actual grade that I give the King Bee 2 is an A-. I think between the accessories, the build quality, and the sound that you're getting, this is a pretty impressive microphone. Now, if you like this microphone and it's in your budget, go for it. If you hate this microphone, guess what? You don't have to buy it. I promise. Thank you all for watching this review of the Neat King Bee 2. I hope it helped you out, helped you decide whether you want to get one of these or not, but most of all, I hope you had fun. Stay tuned for a lot more audio-related videos. Once again, a thank you to Neat for sending this microphone over. A very big thank you to everyone that watches and subscribes, and a very big thank you to everyone that is a member of the Audio Hotline. You are truly the MVPs. Most valuable peanuts. But once again, thank you all for watching the Audio Hotline. I'll see you audio nerds next time.